Mortal Kombat 2 has officially dropped in theaters, so today I'm going to rank all 4 movies from worst to best. Now, obviously, this is only going to be live action movies. I haven't seen any of the animated ones, so those will not be included on the list. And also, just a spoiler alert for Mortal Kombat 2. If you haven't seen it, you've been warned. In last place, no surprise to anyone whatsoever, is Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I mean, this is a movie that's just so extremely bad that it's honestly just laughable. Like, I mean, the costumes in the movie all look like they bought them from Temu, and Temu didn't even exist yet when they made the movie. The dialogue and just the delivery of it is just absolutely atrocious. They recast 80% of the people from the first movie, so it's just so weird watching it after watching the first one from the 90s, because it just makes absolutely no sense going into it, because Johnny Cage has been recast, Sonya's been recast, they recast Jax, they recast Raiden, like everyone was recast, so it just makes absolutely no sense. And like, I mean, Jax talks like he's a rapper for some reason instead of just talking like a normal guy, and that makes like no sense. And then like Katana's costume, I think that's one of the biggest problems with both of the 90s movies. Katana just doesn't look like Katana. Like, if you show me a picture of Katana from either one of those two movies, I would not be able to tell you that it was Katana, because she just looks nothing like Katana. She's just a woman in black leather, which is just not Katana whatsoever. So yeah, I mean, Mortal Kombat 2 Annihilation is easily the worst one here. Is easily the worst Mortal Kombat movie. Easily in last place. No surprise there. Next on the list is Mortal Kombat 2021. Now, I think that aside from Annihilation, all of the rest of the Mortal Kombat movies are all good Mortal Kombat movies in their own way. I just think that the 2021 Mortal Kombat movie is the weakest of the three, mainly just because it doesn't focus on the tournament. If you're going to make a Mortal Kombat movie, it should focus on the tournament. That's what the games are. The point of the games is there's a fighting tournament for the fate of humanity. A bunch of fighters have to get together to fight to save the world. That's what the plot of the games is. There is a fighting tournament. That is the entire plot of the games, and that's what the plot of any Mortal Kombat movie should be, is that there is a tournament. You want to make a sequel, have it be where there's another tournament, and just do that repeatedly, because that's what the games are. That's the plot of the games. So that's what the plot of the movie should be, and I think that that's really what edges out the other two over this one. I think that this one definitely improves on the costumes from the 90s one. I think the costumes in this one look far better than they did in the 90s, especially in Annihilation. Um, Jax is far better here than he was in the 90s. He doesn't talk like he's a rapper or that he's trying to be a rapper. He talks like he's just a normal guy, which is how he should talk. And yeah, I just think that they do all of the characters better here than they did in the 90s. I'm not big on the original character, because, I mean, his entire power is that he has literal plot armor, which is just kind of dumb, and, like, there was no reason to create an original character for a Mortal Kombat movie, considering how expansive the roster is, and how many Earth characters there are that they could have used. Like, they could have had Johnny Cage be in the first one instead of plot armor guy, or they could have introduced the blind guy with the katana. I don't remember what his name is, but like, they could have introduced him. Like, there's so many people they could have used instead of creating their own original character, and I don't understand that choice at all. But really, aside from the original character and not focusing on the tournament, I think it is a pretty good Mortal Kombat movie. All the costumes are great. Goro looks great. In the '90s one, it was a practical like suit that they made. It didn't look terrible for the '90s, but obviously it's the 2020s. We have CGI, so they were able to make Goro look a lot better here than he did in the '90s. Pretty good movie, pretty good Mortal Kombat movie. I just wish that it focused on the tournament. And coming just barely in second place is the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie. Um, Obviously, I like it better than the 2021 one because it focuses on the tournament, which it should. But really, I think that the other one does what this one does, but better. Um, right? I think all of the characters in the modern ones are better in the modern ones than they are here, especially Raiden. Um, and then I like it better when Johnny Cage is irrelevant and he's a washed up actor who joins the tournament to try and get back in the spotlight and get back the popularity that he's lost, rather than just being currently popular, currently a very famous actor who only joins the tournament to prove that he's not a fraud. So I prefer when they do Johnny Cage that way. And then I think that obviously the costumes in this one are not nearly as good as they are in the modern ones. Especially Scorpion. I don't know why they did Scorpion the way they did in the 90s movies. Because, especially this one, he has the weird hook thing that comes out of his hand and has teeth for some reason. I just don't understand why they made the choices that they did with Scorpion in the 90s ones. It makes no sense. It's a Mortal Kombat movie. The most important characters to get right are Scorpion and Sub-Zero, and those are the ones that the 90s ones screwed up the most, and I don't understand at all. Obviously, Katana just doesn't look like Katana at all. The costume for her just looks nothing like Katana. Um, but other than that, it's not a terrible movie. It has its moments where it's really good and where it is quite enjoyable as a movie. But it's just as a whole, Mortal Kombat 2 is better than it. Just as a whole. In first place is Mortal Kombat 2, the new one that just came out. Um, Obviously, a lot of people probably are going to put the 90s one in first because of nostalgia, but I have absolutely no nostalgia for the 90s movies. I was born in 2008. When I was born, those movies had already been out for over a decade. I have absolutely no nostalgia for them. And I just think that Mortal Kombat 2 does everything that the 90s one does and more, and it does all of it better than the 90s one did. Um, there's not as much cheesy dialogue, and they seem to have finally understood what a flawless victory means in the games, because the second one doesn't say it at all, because none of the victories are flawless victories, because in order to have that, you have to not get hit at all. And in all of the other ones, whenever they say it, they got hit, which would make it not a flawless victory in the game. So that they finally understood what that meant. And Scorpion and Sub-Zero are far better here than they were in the 90s. Um, really, I think they just did all of the characters better. The costumes are better. I like that they explored the other realms a bit more here than they did in the original 90s one. Um, and just I think as a whole this is the best Mortal Kombat movie that we've gotten. Aside from the animated ones, I haven't seen those, so I can't judge those against these. But as far as live action Mortal Kombat movies go, this is the best one that we've gotten. It does everything that you want to see from a Mortal Kombat movie. And if you have no nostalgia and previous biases towards the 90s one, then I think this will probably be your favorite Mortal Kombat movie. It's really great. You see a lot of fatalities, a lot of classic characters. All of the costumes look great. And, I think that they did all of the stuff, far better. And I liked seeing Kano come back and, be redeemed and become a good guy to save the Earth this time. And I really like Kano here because he's got snarky, sarcastic sort of humor, and like pretty much every line Kano says, I just like laughed in the theater because just the way Kano says the stuff is funny because he's just very snarky, and I liked that. And then obviously they have Johnny Cage, and he's irrelevant in this movie. He's washed up, which is how I prefer Johnny Cage to be. It does the tournament. It does it very well. I like seeing Katana join the good guys and end up fighting for Earth in the end. And how they, kind of kept foreshadowing to her eventually winning with her headband by having it in multiple different scenes where she, gets it from her father, and then she fights with it when she's training, and then she pulls it out in the final fight. And I thought that was a nice full circle moment for the movie. And yeah, as a whole, I think this is the best Mortal Kombat movie that we've had. Be sure to let me know your list down below in the comments. Obviously, like the video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Obviously, rankings are just simply opinions, and no one has the right opinion. So I, love to hear what yours is. Let me know your rankings. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time.